was estimated the monitors led to reductions of the particulate matter, and then they monetized like your life and illness, and they came up with a number of $127 million in benefits in 2019 in Beijing. And I didn't get the bottom line I wanted to. I think the GATT team spent about $600, $700. And like if we could, you know, change our, you know, really get a lot of clean air and health from our efforts. Now, on the second slide, this is the one that I think is so, in the next one. No, my goodness, where is that slide? Do you have the mental health and pollution slide? Did I get them out of order? Oh, thank you. This one, I think, is incredibly impactful. This was in a Belgian study, and so some of the words don't match with what we know, but in the areas of higher pollution, look at that, 30% increase in these diagnoses. Pollution inflames the brain, and mold does too. 68% increase in major depression. So if you're living in a higher, you know, a more expensive place where the pollution isn't, like we have all of these people 100% increase in schizophrenia and 210% increase in personality disorder. I just think that, if nothing else, I think that slide is impactful. Thank you very much for going to that. Can we just go to the next slide? Thank you, and I'm sorry I was out of it. So the physical health, there's so much data with pollution and health, and I just chose that 1 out of every 9 deaths worldwide was attributed to pollution. So, and 87% of those deaths with the Social Justice Committee probably already knows, 87% were in that low to mid-income area. And now back to Beijing, China. By 2020, this was such a successful program that by 2020, 50 other US diplomatic facilities in 38 other countries put their air quality, they did the same thing. They purchased monitors and went to the next, I'm sorry, thank you, I lost my train. How to decrease particulate matter. So these are some things that we can do. One, know what your particulate matter is. We don't really know what it is. Maybe it's super clean in here. We don't know. And so purchasing fragrance-free. Fragrance is a particularly, I just learned this recently. And fragrance, the molecules in fragrance are so teeny, 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 tiny that they are able to enter, where's my biologist? They are able to enter into our DNA, and they can turn on genes that, like the breast cancer gene, that's the one that I learned this about. Like that pollution, just pollution, fragrance, that molecule can go in there and it can turn on genes, and it can also mute other genes. So this was explained to me that fragrance is actually far, far more damaging than plastics, because those molecules, now plastic is bad, but the molecules, as I understand, in plastic are larger, and I mean, they still do devastating things, but they don't do what these fragrance molecules do. Damp wiping with a surfactant and water. Damp wiping, a surfactant is just a dish soap, and what I understand is it changes the tension of the molecule, and then it kind of just makes it suck up anything that's there. So when we're cleaning, all we need is a little bit of dish soap and some water and a damp wiping, because when you use a dry cloth, it's gonna go into the air. And then vacuuming properly with an encased HEPA vacuum cleaner. You just got to look at your reviews, see if there's any data. And then, I know this is a tough one. This is a tough habit. I was a backyard burner, recreational fires. And then I started learning about the creatures underneath there that, started with that, then the birds, and then I thought about the warblers and their lungs. And so avoid burning, diffusing, spraying, reeds, vaping, anything that's going to change the smell of the room. And oh, you know what? Maybe people don't know what they are. Reeds are, I see them in the Whole Foods. Reeds are, they're like in a pretty container, and I don't know what they're made of. They're little sticks. Everybody does. Yes. And so those are things, yeah. So, and then if we could go to the next slide. And now we are going to have scents and different things. And when you're cooking, I am told by a couple of different sources that you want to use extra ventilation. If you don't have that ventilation fan, you crack open a window and use your fan, maybe just like a little fan. I purchased a small fan when ours was broken. Idling. There is, okay, so we have this building, and if everybody is out in the parking lot idling, our clean air is now filled with their emissions. So we want people to start, as soon as they get in, you turn the car off. And you don't turn the car on until you see your phone, your son, your car, and then you turn your car on. They're asking us to promote 10 seconds of idling. And Outdoor Magazine has an article, they're interviewing a mechanic explaining that our newer cars, it's better for the cars not to idle. So yeah, that's one that I shakily say. And then, everybody is, with the disinfectants. If you were in a workplace or a place where they're using disinfectants, you want to look through that. It's this huge, huge document of all different disinfectants that are effective at killing SARS and COVID. And in the clean air industry, if you are going to use a disinfectant, they recommend hydrogen peroxide. It is still very effective. You mask up, it will burn your lungs. It's not benign. But they ask that, that because it's fragrance-free and it's effective. And all disinfectants, I understand, need a stay time. So you need to put that down for 5 minutes. And you want to wear a mask, even if it is diluted to 1% to 3%, whatever maybe your physician recommends, or my integrative physician did recommend 1%, but that's just a verbal. I don't have any data for that. If we could go to the next slide. Oh, and all these things are on your paper. Decreasing particulate matter involves that ventilation. So we're going back to a lot of our schools are built some of our schools are built in the 70s, you can't open a window. So we're going back to opening windows. And if you are at your home and you want more ventilation, you want to do upper left, lower right, something like that. Moisture control, that would be the dehumidifiers and fans. Air purifiers. If you are choosing to buy a room air purifier, first of all, I want you to know that the experts say damp wipe, dusting, and HEPA vacuuming is more effective than buying a machine. And those machines are effective. So if you are going to buy a machine, you want to find a machine that has a clean air delivery rate of 400 or better. And then if we could go to the next slide. This is, can you do your, would you like to get onto the map? And we can see it. We're not here at we're not live here, but I did see, it's a good day to look at the map. So this is a QR code that I understand if you point your phone towards it, it'll bring up the map. Doug, are you able to bring the map up? I did not think of that until this instant. So sorry. And if you can't, that's okay. Oh, no, you do? I don't. Okay, I was going to say, I don't think I have an account that I know of. And I use the map all the time. I Google purple air map, and then that it comes up real-time map. Oh, good. Good, good, good. And then if you have a phone that's not from York, you'll have to slide over or, find York. But you can see that there's a fair amount of monitors around Harrisburg and around Lancaster. And if you see one that is like a light color, a lighter color, like that one in York, down towards Jacobus and Red Lion, that one just means it's having some internet difficulty. And then there's another one, on the other side of the bridge. There's a couple new ones. What's that? Yeah. Yeah, and then do you see in Columbia where you see those gray circles? Those just aren't online yet. Sometimes you have connectivity issues, but those are new. And what else? If you can find a circle that has a dark line around it. Oh, terrific. Okay, above Harrisburg, that is the indoor particulate matter read. Can I show this to you? Yeah, that's the indoor read, and today is a really good, like, it's a really clean day. Look at all that green. Yes. What's that? North of Harrisburg, there is a yellow circle with a dark outline on it. Oh, where's yours? Here. Oh my gosh. Maybe that was somebody here and they took it offline. Oh wait, no, here it is. Here it is. Do you see this? It's, oh my gosh, I need to get, it's above Shamokin. It's really north of Shamokin. Yeah, it's a little bit north of Shamokin. My apologies. Okay, let me just go smaller. So I am,
North and east.
yes. Oh, and now we have it up on the big map. Oh my gosh, he's incredible. Yeah, yes. So that would be the indoor read. So if you had somebody here at the congregation who their child had, well, if there was a person who wanted to come into the congregation that had trouble with particulate matter, they would know that they wouldn't want to go to that place above Shamokin because that's at 60, and the WHO recommends 5. And the doctors and the environmental scientists are recommending 0. So we want to go as low as we can with that. So, well, that's an indoor reading. No, and I don't, but I am always curious about that. But that is inside somebody's home. They could be using fragrance, they could be cooking, they could be vaping, they could be smoking. Yes, but it is really interesting to see these different numbers and then troubleshoot. And when I was at a webinar, they were explaining when they were doing this with Temple University, the students that were giving the children the program, the curriculum, the students asked the teacher, this is like the best question, why is the particulate matter so bad at 8 o'clock in the morning and at 5 o'clock at night? And they are noticing, you're right, they're noticing what happens with emissions. So it's a very much it's a learning tool, and learning which things make pollution go up and which make them go down. And if we could go to the next slide, please keep looking at well, no, we don't have to go back to the slides. I just wanted to say one thing about what happened a couple of weeks ago. There were some children here, but they're gone. But I wanted to tell them, there's just 2 things. There was a sustainability and health for school buildings K to 12. It was a big summit where all of these very successful schools, Baltimore is one of them, they have 2 net zero schools because their school district hired a sustainability and health expert to find ways to save money. And every school district that hired one of these sustainability experts not only saved the money of the salary of the person they hired, they saved more money. So I wanted the kids to form a club and get their districts to do that. The other thing that all of the school districts said, data. You need your data. Oh my gosh, you're right back on there. Thank you. The other thing about the data, right up here at the tippy top of that map, it'll say USA EPA PM 2.5 AQI. That is the air quality index. So that's an index, and I bet you would be better explaining that, but I'm not gonna, yeah, okay. But what I also like to do is to go over to do the click down menu, which he can't do because this is a slide. And I like to go up there and look at like, what's the raw, like when the firecrackers are going off and it's that ultra fine pollution, you can see if that's being picked up on the raw PM 1.0. That is only going to be particulate matter. As I understand, and Russell Zerbo is the expert, not me. He's that if we're interested in this, he can come back and help us a little more. What I understand is that works on an index, and then these are all the different ways that you can find out what those measurements are. The other important thing before we go, EPA uses this data during wildfire seasons. They take that data and they manipulate it a little bit and they fit it in so they know what is going on with the pollution with the wildfires. I'm good. I was told 20 minutes. I can talk a lot. That does come, oh, the impactful concepts, I forgot. Oh, these are so impactful too. There is this fella, his name is Dr. Joseph Allen. He is at the Harvard T.C. Chang School of Public Health. The person who manages your building, the person who's changing your MERV filter in your HVAC, opening your windows, buying your supplies, the person who manages your building and designs it has a greater impact on your health than your physician. And then the other one that I think is really important for indoor spaces, we saw that above Shamokin at 60 and the outdoor air was very clean. The EPA estimates indoor air is 2 to 5 and up to 100 times more polluted than outdoor air. And we saw that evidenced today. So that's everything that I have.
Hola, Ricardo.
The maps. That was months ago, just to find out what is this thing all about. And all the circles that we just saw, which were mostly green on my phone,
It's raining.
they were all red
That's a bad air day.
that day. And I thought, well, that's interesting because if the air on the outside is all red,
You,
how can the air on the inside?
you don't want to, yeah, you don't want to do extra.
It's going to be bad.
Exactly, that is.
It's not necessarily your fault.
No, that's exactly why you need to know what your local, hyper-local pollution is. If you're using ventilation, which is incredibly important and overlooked, now you know when to open and when not to open.
I used to have a relative in Shamokin, and on the porch, there was coal dust. Yeah, probably a coal dust. So that can be an outdoor contributor. Oh, I'm sorry. That's it. Okay. I used to have a relative in Shamokin, and that's hardcore coal country, and there's a little bit of coal dust on the surface of a lot of outdoor things. So that can affect things as well.
That's why John Banta tells us to vacuum and damp wipe. Yeah.
Also, on this map I looked at last year, I guess, you can also tell where the polluting companies are.
Russell Zerbo has so many stories about industry having to toe the line because one of these monitors or sensors was picking up, they weren't wetting it down, they didn't use fans, I'm not OSHA, I don't know. But yeah, I love that. I love that. Do you know somebody that happened to?
No, I don't.
Oh,
I just
okay.
happened to look on the map and I said, oh my God, because I live over here in the east of Market Street in Spring Township. And if you look on the map, you see just north of 30, you'll see in red, you see the different companies.
That's a
and you
bad.
You can focus in on the map and you can see what the companies are. And they're very polluted. Whereas if you go somewhere else, they're not. I'll bet you BAE, which supplies weapons to Israel, by the way, which is one of the biggest employers in this county. BAE is over west of, where I used to live, Spring Grove, that area, just north of there. They employ over 1,000 people, and you can see all the cars there and all the weapons and stuff that they use. I can guarantee you that's going to be worse too. Very interesting.
For sure. We'll have to get a monitor up there. Yes. Oh, behind you, Joel.
Oh, I don't need that. For as long as I've lived in New York, For as long as I've lived in New York, it seems like when the American Lung Foundation sends out their report card, York always is a D or an F.
Oh, it's really bad right now. The lung.org, just the Susquehanna Valley, we have an F. They named us. And IQ Air, they named Robisonia over there in Berks County as number 7 out of and then over in Pittsburgh is number 1.
They
Yeah.
always talk about the geography, how we sit in this
That inversion.
valley. I mean, is there any hope for us? I mean, I don't,
Absolutely, you're doing it right now. Right now, you're gonna look back on this day and be like, oh my gosh, we
is it
did
just peer pressure that makes the companies change? That's hard for me to believe.
I don't know if it's exactly that, might be
I
some
mean,
legislation or something, I don't know. What? Diesel, yeah, yeah.
Right, well, the particulate,
Oh, I thank you so much for your interest. Well, that's going to be determined by the buildings and grounds. Buildings and grounds are going to, and maybe they'll check in with Russell Zerbo, look at prevailing winds, maybe not. Maybe they're going to find the place with the electrical outlet and the screwdriver reaches. And yeah. Yeah, there's one for outside, and then there's one going to be inside, and I think they chose a spot back.
I think it's back there, but I'm not entirely.
Okay, yeah, I'm not sure either. Yeah, but I'm sure that somebody from GAT's going to alert us.
Most recent information on
Me either, yeah. So thank you.